The Elroq is Skoda's smallest and cheapest offering in their electric car lineup. And when I went to the launch of this last year in Czechia, I was very excited about this new entry. And I actually made a video predicting that this just may become the new best-selling electric car in Europe. And a lot of people laughed at me for that video, but guess what, guys? In the month of April this year, the Elroq was actually Europe's best-selling electric car. So I think that is very interesting. And also, if you want to see this exact same review, but in Norwegian, I'm going to link my new Norwegian channel down below called Elbilkryss. For me, I'm trying to get invited to more of these events, and that means I have to start making Norwegian content for the Norwegian importers and the Norwegian brands because I live in Norway. So please go to that channel, check out my Norwegian review if you're Norwegian, and also subscribe to that channel because I'm really trying to hit 10,000 subscribers on that new channel before the end of the year. It's really going to help me on my journey moving forward with this, the English channel, but also the Norwegian channel. But I'm still going to make videos on the English channel, business as usual. On the Norwegian one, we're going to do 1 to 2 videos per week in the beginning, but as this channel grows, I'm going to get more help with videographers, with editing. So this is just to make the content better and to bring you guys more relevant content, more relevant cars sooner than later. So guys, thank you so much for all the support. Now on with the review of the Skoda Elroq. The Elroq wears Skoda's newest design language called Modern Solid and its new face called Tech with a very distinct DRL signature. I think this new design language is very pretty but also modern. Elsewhere, the Elroq has clean and elegant lines, which I think makes a very classy and good-looking little SUV. If you ever spent any time in the Skoda Enyaq, this interior is going to be very familiar, and that is because it is identical. The interior in the Elroq is the interior we saw in the facelifted version of the Enyaq. So improvements, we have a new Skoda logo or new Skoda badge lettering instead of the old logo here on the steering wheel. I think it looks a little bit more classy. And also, they've removed basically 99% of the nasty glossy back plastics we had in the old car. So in the center console is this beautiful, beautiful matte plastic finish. Also, most parts of the steering wheel. On the inside here is still glossy black plastics, but other than that, I can't find anything except for on the gear selector. You know, I'm not opposed to having any glossy black plastics, but having it on surfaces that collects dust and gets scratched easily, that is just dumb in my opinion. And Skoda have listened to their customers and they have changed that up here. The interior is even nicer than before. Now you have this cool, I don't think we had this in the Enyaq, this cool like denim fabric. I think reminds me a lot of that fabric we saw in the Audi Q6 e-tron last year. It's just very classy, high quality, and it's a nice option for those who don't want leather because they, you know, of political reasons or because of animal welfare or just don't like leather. I like leather, but I would not mind this at all because it is a beautiful, beautiful interior. It's stitched here on the center console, on the dashboard, and then, you know, we have the interior ergonomics. We have buttons for your volume, for your controls, for your, you know, your adaptive cruise control. You have stalks for your blinkers, for your wipers. You have buttons, you have mirror switches. This interior is a masterclass when it comes to ergonomics. And also the updated infotainment system we first saw with the Enyaq back in late 2023, so it is improved. Still at the best to use, but it has a lot of cool you know, shortcuts which you can customize up here to turn off, you know, your driver assistance systems, lane keep assist, speed limit warning, driver monitoring system. It's just a breeze to use. And I think, you know, I made a video on my Norwegian channel, a short, where it took like less than 5 seconds to from entering the menu to turning it all off. It is just awesome. And I think more car manufacturers, especially a lot of the Chinese, should look towards Skoda and the Germans for simple and easy ergonomics, making the car just a joy to live with and to use. Maybe the most impressive part about this Elroq is that it retains the same wheelbase as its bigger cousin or bigger brother, the Enyaq. And that means you have the same amount of rear legroom. This is impressive for being such a small car. So I'm 180 centimeters, 5'11", sitting behind myself. I have massive amounts of headroom a lot of knee room and also a lot of room for my feet. I can easily slide them under the front seat. And also the cushion is quite a nice distance off the floor, so I don't feel like I'm sitting on the floor like in something like the Volvo ES90 where my knees are this high. It's just comical. I would rather spend time in this rear seat compared to the ES90 because this is just more comfortable, though I have less knee room in theory. Very impressive. Like, you have your armrest here with dual cup holders. This does feel a little bit cheap. I complained about that in my RS review in Czechia last week. But other than that, this is a very nice interior. I would not mind spending a few hours back here on a road trip. So the Skoda Elroq has one of these traditional keys, which I really like. So you have a lock button, unlock, and then you have a trunk opening button. And in the driver's seat, foot on the pedal or brake pedal, and then car ignition's on. Also proximity key here, so not one of these which you walk up to the car and unlocks. I think there is a phone app, if I'm not mistaken, also you can use. But this is just, you have it on your person, you grab behind the door handle, it unlocks, and also there's an indentation on the door handle, and then you lock it. So the mandatory pre-drive checklist, turn off lane keep assist, speed limit warning, and driver monitoring systems is super simple in this car. So up here, you have configurable shortcuts, which I've already configured to assistance systems. And then you have here, you just have all of them down here in a list. It is so simple, so easy. It takes you like less than 5 seconds. And then we're off. Gear selector down here, you have DS normal, you have brake regenerative mode, which is like a brake regenerative, almost one pedal drive, but this car does not have one pedal drive, so it does not come to a complete stop. I wish it had that, but I'm one of those people who are of the opinion that, you know, you're just gonna get used to it, one pedal drive or not. My daily is a Porsche Taycan, doesn't have one pedal drive, and it doesn't bother me at all. But every time I get into a car with a one pedal drive, I get used to it. So it's just, you know, a matter of what you're used to. Of course, I do understand that people absolutely don't like cars without one pedal drive and the opposite. So I wish this had an option, but it doesn't. But for me, it is fine. I have to say, you know, this car drives pretty much the same as the Enyaq, but also it feels a little bit lighter on its feet. And that is due to, you know, it having 15 centimeters of less mass over the rear. And that means, you know, the center of inertia is closer to the middle of the vehicle, and that means you're just going to get, you know, a car that feels a little bit more agile and light on its feet. And also the suspension tuning, it feels taut, it feels firm and controlled, but it's not uncomfortable. Like, there's one motion over the bumps and it dampens it nicely. But I have to say, the VRS or the RS version I drove in Czechia last week, which does have dynamic dampers, and even though that car was on 21-inch wheels and this is on 19s, that felt more comfortable, more wafty. And I'd say if you want the most out of this platform, I'd say go for a car with dynamic chassis control, because it's really going to give you a car with even nicer ride quality. But with that being said, this is by no means uncomfortable, but it does feel taut and is very, very nicely controlled. Steering also a little bit slow compared to that RS version, which did have, you know, progressive steering. So this isn't the most inspiring version of the Elroq, that is the RS by far, but it's just nice. Seats are nice, seats are comfortable. My only complaint about seats is that there is no adjustable thigh support, but for me, it's fine. I don't have an issue at all, but if you have really long legs, that may be an issue. I just think this car is so well balanced and calibrated. Like, the steering feels nicely. You know, it's light on center and precise, so it's easy to correct when you're going fast on a motorway, and also when you go to get going and you get mass over the wheels and you get a little bit of steering lock, it weights up nicely and naturally. There's nothing weird about the way this car drives. It just feels refined. And it just feels like they spent a lot of time calibrating all the controls, the throttle, the brake, everything. It's just a nice car to drive. And also, compared to the Enyaq, I don't think this is any more noisy. I haven't had a chance, you know, to do any range test of this car because I was just given a car for like 1.5 days. Asked me if I wanted to make, you know, a few quick videos, and I'm like, okay, just give me the chance. And I chose to make a few videos on this channel and also my new Norwegian channel before making a range test. But I am going to have a press car on loan in a few weeks and do my full suite of testing. And guys, if you didn't check out my Norwegian channel, go check that out down below. Elbilkris, go subscribe to that. We're trying to get that to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That would be awesome, because more subscribers on the Norwegian channel means getting invited to more of these events with Norwegian press. I'm going next week to Slough outside of London to check out the new Honda O, I think, new concept. So that is pretty cool, but I'm gonna get invited to more and more of these and get early access to cars if I have more subscribers on this, and especially the Norwegian channel. But okay guys, I think this drives nicely. There's barely a difference between this and the Enyaq, but I think the RS version of this is one of my favorite driving small electric SUVs, and is even better than the RS version of the Enyaq. It's just impressive, and also turning radius super tight. This is just a really cool car in a lot of ways. In my opinion, I think this is actually the best car to buy out of the electric lineup from Skoda, because you're basically getting almost the full Enyaq experience, but in a smaller, more compact package. And if you don't need, the big trunk of the Enyaq, 470 liters here with the same size cabin and the same interior, you're getting pretty much the best of both worlds and saving a lot of money. So if you don't need that big trunk, I'd say go for this, but I'd say if you have enough money, go for the VRS version. I drove that in Czechia last week and it is awesome. My favorite electric car, currently on sale, less than 60 or 70,000 euros. I'm gonna link that video down below. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.